Let's go.
Okay. Three,
Two,
two,
one.
one.
Oh. How?
No, you go. You take it. F it. You take it tonight.
Oh yeah. How is
Drive it to the
everyone
hole.
doing tonight, man? I am on one. It is about 7:50 in on a Sunday. We usually do this stuff early, but guess who played tonight? My Lakers.
I don't know. It's that way or this way. I don't remember anymore.
I
Oh
don't
my.
even know. Honestly, at this point, like, I got my stuff extended, so you're actually up here. I'm down here.
Oh, okay.
But hey, man, we chilling again. Just sorry for guys for introductions notice.
Yeah.
I
We
am.
apologize in advance if this thing goes off the rails real quick.
I don't care, bro. I'm on my petty stuff, man. I don't care. But yeah, I am one of your hosts of this amazing podcast called PS Comics. I love you. I am JR Kabakuman, aka the Dark King, and above me right now is my guy.
Oh wait, you're down there. Hi.
Is my guy.
Man, that screen just got fuzzy like JR's brain. I am the voice of reason, Kevin Pillow, at Voice of Reason 23 on all social media platforms, including Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. And again, don't forget my boy over here at also not JR Comics 42. I think both of us are going to be ratcheting up the comic book posts because man, oh man, I'll tell you one thing from the comic book side. It is getting busy. This past week, I don't think I have left the asylum breaking out Benjamins like I did. I mean, I finally went over the century mark for the first time, I think, since begin. You know what? To be honest, with the exception of I think my initial down payment on a layaway property, which I can't get into. I don't think I've spent over the century mark since before the pandemic, but some absolutely great covers to come out. And you know what? I just remembered, since I'm recording from the new studio, so there might be a little echo. We're working on some things here, and I'm trying a different setup of the microphone in a test run for some new equipment that's going to show up next week. But nonetheless, yeah, it's another Sunday night. JR is feeling great. The Lakers won their 17th NBA championship. This isn't a sports podcast, but we'll do. Hey, you know what? The Lakers are very much a part of pop culture. And I'm not a Laker fan. I gave up on the Lakers years ago. I give JR all the credit in the world for being the fan he is. They are so much a part of pop culture. LeBron is a part of pop culture. Obviously going to be a part of that new Space Jam movie, and I'm sure we'll talk about it when he gets around to it.
I'm gonna trash the hell out of that movie. I would just straight up, right? I'm a big Laker fan with an L, not a LeBron fan. But
I will say this.
Yeah.
I give all the credit in the world. I am not, and I repeat, not a fan of the National Basketball Association. I think they have been, and I'll say it, and I'll get, send your hate tweets at Voice of Reason 23. I think it's a trash league. I think it's been that way for a while. When you are, and we'll just go with me on this one because we're gonna come full circle. Is when you're trailing Major League Soccer in the ratings consistently over the last 3 or 4 years, and the MLS is one of the worst soccer leagues in the world, you're not doing anything good.
But what are you talking about?
I will say this. Along with the WWE, Vince McMahon doing the Thunderdome down at the Amway Center in Orlando, the NBA really stepped up their fan experience with the NBA Finals and the Western and Eastern Conference Championships with their version of the fan wall, with the interactive fan wall, of course, letting fans log in, show videos of themselves, Skype in, Zoom in like we do. Pretty cool. It's, again, thinking outside the box, doing something new, bringing technology, bringing stuff that's in pop culture right now into your workplace. I can remember going back a few years ago with the XFL. We're going to chase a sports rabbit real quick. The XFL back in 2001 had a thing called the X Cam. It was a camera that hovered over the field and brought you as close as you could over the play, almost like a Madden experience, that backfield camera. As soon as the XFL went defunct after their first season, guess who grabbed it? Everybody. The National Football League grabbed it. The NBA used it in some instances, like in the All-Star game and in the finals. Heck, down here in Indian Wells, the BNP Paribas Open, the tennis tournament, they use it on multiple occasions. So I love to see technology and pop culture intersect
Yeah.
with the sports world. And I give it, as you can see right there in JR's background, you see that right above LeBron's head. That is part of the fan dome
Yep.
at the what was it? Where did they play at the
It
Disney
was
World?
the Disney World Magic Center. It's like where all the AAU teams before used to go to, and so it's a huge center, man. It's like literally, it's its own literal theme park. It's not. It's like Disney World is like maybe a mile or so away from them.
Yeah,
That's
so
it.
it's in Kissimmee, right?
I can't
Is
recall.
it is it the because they I know the MLS did their welcome back tournament.
Hmm.
The NHL no, did the NHL ended up not going to
They did.
Orlando? They
I don't
did.
know if they're not, but they. I know they had their finals, and but before we
It was
before
really
we get
really cool what Disney
before
did.
we
Yeah.
get we get off before we get off as topic as we are,
Yep. Yep.
I do want to rebut what you said about that the NBA has worse viewership than MLS, which I call BS, because you might be thinking about the WNBA, which they have over time have been worse too. It's
Do
just
they
that
even
like
still have fans? Bro, bro, let's
like
just
it's
put it
that
this way:
let's
the only thing to come out of the WNBA was Diana Taurasi.
the only thing here's a crazy thing.
I
I
love
didn't
Diana.
I didn't know they had their finals.
Mm-hmm.
They did, and I didn't know about
They were
that.
in the same. I think they were in the same bubble as the NBA.
But I will say here this, like the biggest travesty because of COVID is that, yeah, like, and my boy here is an MLB fan, so
Go Dodgers. They. I'm nervous. I'm nervous about the baseball
cool.
bubble in
Yeah,
Texas and Southern
yeah,
because I think they're playing in Arlington for the National League Championship
yeah.
Series and in San Diego, I think, for the American League. And I'm nervous because they are going to let some
Yeah.
fans in. So
I will say to kind of rebut after you said that the NBA the MLB playoffs is down 39% compared to last season as well. So it's and NFL is down 14% less viewers, NHL is 25, including a 61% for NHL Stanley Cup Finals, which is everyone has been taking a hit.
I don't think anybody knew about the NHL, which was kind of sorry because actually there was some good hockey being played.
Yeah,
But
so like sports in itself, like sports has always been on like just maybe a kind of heads above water type of thing. This this whole year season for everybody was kind of but I will tell you straight up though, dude, if the NBA finals happen without COVID, you got LA and Miami. How was that not
yeah,
how was that not like the two primetime spots? But regardless of that, guys, we're not sports. We are
no, no,
definitely
no.
not a sports podcast. We are definitely a comic slash pop culture podcast, guys. And just let y'all know, this is the New York Comic Con, this New York Comic Con news and notes podcast, because even though the for me the NBA playoffs did happen, guys, New York Comic Con literally just ended today,
Yeah.
and we got a couple of news for it to you guys, but then I will hand it off to my boy here to do some news, know some other things too. So
Well, real quick before I did this literally just came off the wire from comicbook.com from about an hour ago. So this did not make JR's notes. We do, and I hate to do this. I don't go looking for this, people. People quit sending me your hate tweets about why do you keep talking about people dying. But you know what? It's part of the pop culture. The actress, some of you might go like, who? Goldfinger actress Margaret Nolan passed away at the age of 76. Now people are going, who is she? Well, Goldfinger, of course, a famed James Bond movie. We've been on a James Bond kick for the last few years, or for the last few weeks. Um, the, the young lady who I'm talking about, 76, still pretty young.
yeah,
Famously, Margaret was the famed actress
yeah.
who painted her or got
Oh,
painted gold
mm-hmm.
in the title sequence. Now, there has been, let me bring it up real quick. There has been a lot of, there you go. That's her right there, painted from head to toe in gold. And there was actually a long standing myth about her that she actually passed away years ago, shortly after filming this sequence in the movie where she was in the title sequence for Goldfinger. But that she spontaneously combust because the paint they used clogged her pores to the point where she exploded. And people believe this, but she she did live to a pretty good age at 76 years old. So our hats off to all the people in the James Bond community uh, celebrating her passing today.
Yep.
So sorry to see such an iconic figure in pop culture. 76. I mean, that's a good
I
life, but
mean,
still pretty
yeah.
young. But
I mean, like she's seen it all at that point, and hey, uh, if any of us could live past 50, it should be a good life,
yeah.
honestly.
Moving right along, and I saw this note, and I wanted to talk a little bit because I've seen this pop up a lot more. That you're over the next couple of weeks, you're going to see more PlayStation and Xbox breakdown videos
Yep.
coming. Not just of them testing out the equipment, but actually tearing down the internal components, showing you, because a lot of times tech companies like to embellish a little bit about what they actually have under the hood, that they may not be lying per se when they say they have 16 gigs of RAM in there, but what kind of RAM is it, and blah blah blah. So people do these teardown videos on YouTube and whatnot. And I know that the Sony PlayStations finally started getting released to members of the media and
Yep.
YouTube people. I did see a couple of YouTube videos actually get their early hands on the Xbox Series S. I know that people like iJustine are supposed to be doing a teardown of both of the systems in the next week or two. I know that her and her
Yeah.
sister Jenna both announced that they are in possession of at least the Xbox Series S and are
Yeah.
prepared to do teardown. So we should have some pretty good under the hood
Yeah.
information from
Yeah.
other members of the media here in the next couple of
Yeah.
weeks. So
Which yeah,
are you
which is
expecting either one of these systems to be coming out with a little bullshit, or are you thinking it's going to be pretty legit?
it's pretty legit because actually funny enough, the Xbox themselves did a teardown of their console, I think a month or so ago, or quite a while ago,
Yeah,
and they had YouTubers actually come in and like not a full teardown of everything, but like the major components, right? You like your CPU, your GPU, your fan, and Xbox got a huge ass fan. I will say, and like the Xbox itself, it looks basically like a more weird looking. It looks like now an Apple Mac, right?
yeah.
Like the old ones, right, where you just go straight up, looks like a tower. And the way their components are kind of just like all their major stuff is in a square, and they got a fan on top of it. I'm like, okay, I kind of want to see how that goes. I'm hoping it's not loud. I'm hoping it's not, I don't want to overheat. And I watched the PlayStation one, the PS5 teardown, and all their stuff in there looks good. Looks good. I'm hoping it's not like some old school PS3 stuff where they show you a mock-up of what the PS3 looks like, right? And then when you see the actual teardown, like half those parts are missing, right? Like
Yeah,
it's not
I've
there
seen some of
anymore.
that. They've sent
Yeah,
some
yeah,
skeleton boxes out to YouTubers and stuff like that. So they're only showing the actual, so that people can see like comparison, like size
yeah,
comparison, especially with people like you and I were talking about wire management before we went on the air. And it's like, people
yeah.
want to start like, okay, where am I going to put this in my entertainment center? So
Yeah. So like from what I see though, I did watch the entirety of the breakdown. I think it's like what 10-15 minutes or so for the actual breakdown. And he break the it's the head lead designer. No, it's the head lead. I forget his name, but he helped create prior. Actually, don't call me on that. He helped create this PS5. I'm kind of on one. Sorry guys, Lakers won, so I'm kind of loopy right now. But him tearing down everything.
I've had a couple of these as well. So this
Yeah,
is
dude.
not my typical acai energy drink. I had one of those earlier.
Yeah.
That was my upper. This is my downer. I got a
Mm.
little red wine in me tonight. So
I'm not bringing out my beer right now. I'm gonna have it just chill right there. But yeah, they showed some of the parts, man. And from what I'm constantly seeing and what I've constantly been told or what I've been reading is that the PS5 is made for speed. Like it's made for like
yeah,
you want your stuff is instantaneous. Or like level loading is like that literally. And it's a bigger, from what I'm seeing, it's a bigger leap over what Xbox has. Not a huge leap, right? But like I saw this one YouTuber called Young. Yeah, he had his Xbox Series X or Xbox, whatever it's called now, and he's had it for about a week or so, and he's propped up the new Xbox with the current gen Xbox, and like he's just doing loading screens, right? I think for one game, it was like either like Red Dead Redemption or something, right? Where it took about a minute and 40 seconds for it to load on the old gen. And for the new Xbox, it took like 40 seconds. So it's considerable, right?
oh
And
yeah,
it's very considerable, right? And some games maybe like 15 seconds or less. And so That's cool. But from what Sony has been saying is that the load time from Spider-Man was pretty hefty, not hefty, but like was decent, right? You notice it, and then load time from on PS5. So stuff like that is gonna be cool because that means like, yo, you're not. It's not gonna be a loading trip. Going down the subway train to go to a different part of the city. Now it's like you're instantaneously there. So I see what they're making, right? Xbox is consistently going for like higher power, but PS5 is looking for higher torque,
Yeah.
basically at this point. So they want to leave you before you get up to that. So it's a different game set now, and I'm cool with it, man. I'm cool with it. Like I cannot wait to get my PS5 and give y'all a full rundown on what's going to happen too with it. But you know, I see more stuff like this coming down before they release next month, which is insane to me. But yeah,
Well, I almost spoiled one of JR's points for from New York Comic Con, and for the news and notes. So we will save it because actually some news came out from the rumor mill about earlier this morning that we will have to add to a little footnote to one of JR's bullet points for later in the NYCC um, uh, uh, kind of rundown. Eternal, the comic book series, will be pushed back to November of 2021. A lot of comic books getting pushed. We talked about last week. Was it Berserker, the Keanu Reeves produced comic book? Will see a release in February
yeah,
of next year, which not bad. A lot of people that have already pre-ordered it are still on the slab. So I did talk to Chick
yep,
and Kaylee, not Kaylee, Aaliyah. I'm sorry, why did I say Kaylee? Aaliyah at Comic Asylum earlier this week, and they assured us that if you pre-ordered Berserker and added it to your pool list, that it is still good and will be
yeah.
honored next year. We'll say this. I don't know if we talked about this last week or if it broke after we published our podcast last week. But oh my gosh, why am I completely forgetting his name? McFarlane.
Yeah. Oh yeah, yeah. Tom McFarlane.
Tom McFarlane, Todd McFarlane rather, who is of course the head of McFarlane Studios, works over at Image Comics, still does do a lot with the Spawn run
Mm-hmm.
for Image Comics. Said earlier this week and released a excellent tribute cover to Chadwick Boseman and Black Panther. It's a picture of Spawn. And for those of you who don't know, and some of you might not know, is that Spawn actually is an African American character. I
Mm-hmm.
know I saw a lot of people, oh, why are you doing it? Why are you going to make him black? He's been black for 20, almost 30 years, bro.
Yeah.
It's like, open up a book. Now, I will say I forgot. And then I remembered one of the scenes from the original
Yeah.
Spawn movie. And I'm like, oh, wait, dude, no, bro. Spawn's always been black.
Yeah.
So the original, forget me if I'm wrong. Just we'll jump on this real quick.
Yeah.
Spawn, the guy, the actual person.
Yeah.
Spawn was an actual human being. Wasn't he a cop?
I think it was a mercenary. I think it was been some
He was a merc. Okay.
something like that because like people tend to
Didn't he
forget
like
because
sell his soul to the devil or something, or no?
some crazy stuff. Like, well, here's the thing though, he was burned,
That's
right?
what it is.
People tend to forget that he was burned. He was charred alive because like he was sent to hell. And so when he comes back as Spawn, you're not seeing his skin color. You're seeing his flesh. You're seeing his
him
like
charred.
he charred. Like yeah, like and so people tend to forget that yeah, Spawn is actually black. And that's here's the thing where you're focused more on the writing and the character than you are the skin color. People tend to forget that Spawn is black, right? Like they thought he's a white dude for how long? Come on, man.
Or just don't know
Yeah, yeah. The
um
context.
the
I don't.
context,
Yeah, I don't expect people to know Spawn's skin color per se,
because we
right?
spent most of the time in
In costume and like he's been charred up for majority of his life, but like but you know who, but you know where the actual not okay, where you know the hardcore fans are at when you say this because like they look at his history, they went back to read issue 1 or the trade paperbacks from that time because of how that's how invested you are in Spawn, and so like I don't know I feel like it's the same crowd that are complaining and bitching about like oh why do we gotta change this person or that person like it's not more so the race the quote unquote racist crowd that a lot of people are throwing around. It's more so the people that don't like change or their perceived change.
yeah.
That's what I feel like it is. Like okay then if you he's always been that.
Yeah.
It's just that he has a mask on. Yeah, dude, a black dude fought against the devil and God.
And I will say this is everything as a comic book fan that you want. Here is a
Yep.
character, not even necessarily part of the quote big two. This is straight out one of the biggest independent companies to the point where you can almost say Image is one of the quote big three, but Image is still classified as an independent book, independent company. Here is them not only acknowledging Chadwick Boseman, an actor, who played played more characters than he other characters than he did playing Black Panther in Marvel movies. I mean, he
Mhm.
played different characters. Mind you, he only played Black Panther 4 times:
Yeah.
Civil War, Black Panther, Infinity War, and he was in the
Endgame.
very end of Endgame. So, but he gets 4 credits for Marvel movies, and he played more characters outside of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but he is so well known because Black Panther is the third highest grossing movie of all time,
Mhm.
and it was so iconic and he was so perfect that here you are. Not only is they taking, okay, it's a black guy playing that Spawn is, and they just threw Chadwick's name at the top. No, bro, look at that. They even put the Black Panther at the bottom. I mean, forget me if I'm wrong. I don't think Spawn normally has that at the bottom of his costume.
He doesn't.
He doesn't. So it's
He
an
doesn't.
obvious nod that
Yeah.
Seth MacFarlane, Todd
Tom McFarlane.
McFarlane
Yeah.
is wanting to pay tribute not only to Chadwick the man, but Chadwick the character actor who played arguably one of the most iconic. And I know we've
Yeah.
talked about Chadwick so many times, but this was a cool moment. It's a cool book. It's going to be, by the time this drops, it should be available to say for purchase this week. I know that Chick and Javelle kind of did a pull list early
Yeah.
request
Yep.
line. I put in I want one. It's a
Yeah.
cool cover. It's probably
Yeah.
one of McFarlane's best work in a long
Mhm.
time.
Yeah. I definitely want to. I'm definitely gonna cop
Oh,
me a couple covers.
did you see the
Yeah.
black and white?
I know I've seen that one too, but I gotta see like I want to see the pricing. I guess I'm still
Yeah,
gonna probably end up getting it, but like I'm hoping that it's not the 1 for 100
I
that
think
Tom
it is a
McFarlane
one. I think
tends
it
to
is a
do.
one. I think it's a. It's
Yeah.
either, I know for a fact it's either a 1 in 50 and a 1 in 100 because there's two. There are two variants.
Yeah. So
Um,
I
but
just we'll see how it is. Like it's
yeah,
that book's not released like what like a month from now, I think, because they just released that cover out, and usually it would take time for comic book shops to actually put in orders for it, unless like they do it unless they literally did it last minute and it's
yeah,
coming out in like 2 weeks from now. But who knows? We'll see
we'll see
how
what
that goes.
happens. But other than
Yeah.
that, there wasn't a lot. Like I said, a busy week, and we'll get to it at the end. I'll have to run
Mhm.
upstairs, get my pull list. I do want to say
I-
this before we get
yeah.
into the news and notes. For those of you who saw, I did post some stuff on Instagram Live on our Instagram account at PS Comics. I love you on Instagram,
I
and I'm
saw
going to
that.
do this from time to time. We're going to do some how tos, maybe some breakdowns, some open or some what do you call it? Open box, or what do you
Mhm.
call them?
Yeah.
Unboxings rather.
Yeah.
I wanted to do was I wanted to do a test run on this. A lot of people have been complaining that since Batman 1027 came out
Yeah.
last month,
Mm.
that it's incredibly difficult to bag and board. It's even big. It's bigger than Action Comics 1000. It's bigger than
Mhm.
Detective 1000. It's bigger than Marvel 1000. It's
Mhm.
bigger than your average trade paperback. It's easily bigger than any of the trades from Walking Dead.
Mhm.
It's a thicker than usual book. It's over 100 pages, probably close to what, the 140 mark.
Something like that. I know it's like uh it's a hefty book, and
So
it's like just basically did you yeah, I think I seen bits of it. Just use a magazine.
yeah, for
Use a
those of you,
magazine back and board, guys.
yeah, after using the bag and board, I did squeeze in all of my 1027s into a
Mm,
Silver Age bag and board.
yeah.
That's still not going to cut it. It's
No.
probably going to have to be a magazine. I've looked online. I've done some more Google searches. Still haven't found anybody who has found anything more
Like
uh,
that.
that's better.
Yeah.
But
Which I'm fine with. It's cool. Like uh for some DC in the last couple of years has been either on a resurgence or this weird spree of like having, I guess, distinct or different esque type of covers now, or like type of thickness of books. So
Yeah.
yeah, this book is basically like a trade paperback, like one and a half times trade paperback basically. So they're gonna inevitably find a bigger somewhere someone is gonna make a bigger s bag and board for it. So
Yeah.
it's gonna have, because let's face it, Marvel's probably gonna do it too now.
Yeah.
So like
I will say
it's gonna
if
happen.
if BCW or anybody else out there makes a bag and board that's larger than, I think what a bag and the Silver Age is 7 by 10 and a
Something.
half.
Yeah, it's a weird thing. Like I think they should just do basically your magazine size bag and boards. So
Let me see,
it,
just so the
yeah.
people don't, so people don't go running out there and getting it. The bag and board I got off of Amazon. They were the Silver Age comic book, and they are 7 by 10 and a half. So 7 by 10 and a half down. But they're just, I don't know, they're just not thick enough.
They're not.
They kind of do a little canoe, like there's a little
Yeah,
canoe to it.
it's
Um,
gonna squeeze the hell out of the book too. So
yeah. We'll see what happens. Sometimes they stretch out and they kind of settle down. Sometimes they don't. I
yeah.
know that going back to now, I will say this: if you just bag it, it works perfectly fine.
Yeah.
So, cool experiment. Maybe you don't put a Silver Age bag or back into it,
Yeah.
board into it. You put a modern age board into a Silver Age book. So I'll do a couple more experiments with it. I'll let you guys know next week of how it goes. One more review for you by two. I did finally bite the bullet. I wanted to give it a test run. It's been staring me in the eye for probably about a year now. Everyone's told me don't do it. They're not that very good. They're too heavy. I went and got the BCW long box, the plastic long
Oh.
box. I will give this thing, as of right now, I will give it a C minus. It is, anybody who's put the BCW short boxes together, they're a pain in the ass. Javel's got it down to a science. I've gotten better. JR's got the muscle, so he can kind of put them together. But even I know JR's had some struggles with them too.
Yeah.
They're a pain in the ass.
Yeah.
The short boxes by far are the best box on the market.
Yep.
Period. They're a bitch to put together, but I will say this to the end of time: the short boxes are worth every penny.
I have 7 of them.
I have 1, 2, 3. I think I have 4. I may have 4, 5 counting Danielle's and 1 magazine. No, wait. 1, 2, 4, 5 counting Danielle's, 1 magazine. Yeah. 2 of them are just Campbell and Art Germ.
Hey man, yeah, like dude, like
one of them is completely Art Germ. I'm sorry, it was completely Campbell. The second one is about a third Campbell, and the rest is Art Germ. Yeah. And then I got my whole, and then I have my whole Gwenpool collection.
Yeah, actually, let me rephrase that. I have 3 short boxes and 4 CGC BCW bin boxes. So,
yeah, and I've always got the one magazine / CGC.
Yeah.
I will point this out. We're gonna have to wait a little bit longer, probably looking closer to November when I will be getting my CGCs back. I did talk to Javel this past week. For those of you that watched the go back and watch the Amazing Spider-Man number 300 episode. You'll see it. You'll know it says the episode where Kevin dropped ASM 300. Because of that,
I'm never gonna let him live that down, guys.
Neither is Javel. Yeah. Javel watched that episode, and because of that episode, purposely made sure, even if I didn't pay for it, was going to charge me for it. Purposely made sure that those books, especially ASM 300, got pressed. Both of them are being pressed. Now, upon my inspection, after dropping the book, and I dropped it on its corner, I inspected it. No damage to the book on the corners. The board took most of the damage.
Good.
Again, I cannot I say this enough. If you have a book that is prior, I'll even say this: you have a book that's printed prior to 1985, you have to put it in an oversized Silver Age bag and board. That's the one I just mentioned, the 7 by 10.5.
Yeah.
The boards are a little bit bigger, and you'll look at it and go, God, it looks ugly because the books look smaller than the board. It's not a nice. No, I'm telling you right now, that will save your ass, because it's exactly what happened to me. ASM 300 actually is a post 85 book. It's in a Silver Age bag and board, and if it was not, yes, those corners would have been they would have been beat to shit.
I will constantly say this too, and I've been a big avid fan of this, right? Also, get top loaders, guys.
Yeah,
If top loaders are a good investment for me, because
great investment.
look, okay, this is my Venom, right? My Venom 27. Beat the hell, and the corners are still fine. It's stuck in protective.
It's still the fact that you did it on purpose, even though you know it's a top loader. Oddly
still,
enough, I did not have ASM 300 or my amazing, was it 142, whatever, the in top loaders. I have my uncanny 181 and 182 in top loaders, and I also have a super rare Gwenpool book in a top loader.
Yeah.
And then I also have I have an uncanny X-Men number, I want to say it's number 13.
Yeah.
I have an early one that's in, and my wife even asked, like, why do you have that in one of those weird cases? I'm like, because when you have an uncanny X-Men that's in the double digits,
yeah,
you freaking take care of that bad boy.
The point of this thing, guys, specifically, is that if you know for damn sure your comic book or magazine, whatever, right, is up to a certain dollar amount, protect as much as you possibly can.
Yeah.
Especially if you're in this game for just collecting. Like, and I bunk on Kevin as hard as I can for it, because I know damn well he knows better. It's a funny thing to have. I'm gonna have my feelings as well, guys. So it's a give and take situation. But yeah, honestly, you just learn from us. Learn from us, guys. Learn from our mistakes. Buy top loaders. Like,
Yep.
These will fit. I think some, if not most, of every type of style of comic. If, as long as you don't have these weird ass freaking fake, like mylar covers where they extend that out to this point. These the people use mylar covers just specifically to show stuff off. It looks shinier, and
They look bitching.
They look cool, but like they also cover the imperfections of the actual comic book, and if you are a collector and just trying to save your money, notice that, guys. I have gone to too many damn cons to a specific guy who I respect, and he's cool, but I go to and see his stuff, and I see his dollar amounts and how much he's selling it for, and I think it's nice, but because it's in Mylar, but like it's like a 6.0 for a new book. I'm like, just know what you're getting into, guys.
Exactly. And I will always tell you, JR is the same. JR just kind of hinted at, and I'll say the same thing. If you go to a con and you see books in those Mylar covers, they are badass covers. They're great covers.
Yeah.
Ask nicely if you can take the comic out of the bag. Because
cons,
like JR says, so funny. They're a see-through cover, but they just find a way to hide imperfections. I will say this, going back to the two Amazing Spider-Mans that are being sent to CGC, one of them is going for touch-ups and cleaning. So I'm really excited to see how that comes out.
Definitely look out for cons, guys, for the convention stuff.
Yeah.
They are called cons for a reason.
The cons. Speaking of cons, let's get right into the meat and potatoes of episode number 20. Now, I would like to point out, again, this is episode number 20, hit the milestone. We were going to wait until we hit 21 to get into the celebrating, but JR had to celebrate the freaking Lakers winning a championship. So nonetheless, we will wait till next weekend when I've got all my new equipment and whatnot. I'm excited about that. I got the green screen. I'm going to have the new ring light. I'm gonna be a YouTuber. I'm gonna be a creator. What do they call it?
A vlogger.
A vlogger.
Influencer.
I'm gonna be an influencer. Anyways, let's get into the meat and potatoes. I actually thought that New York Comic Con was last weekend. JR kept me on pace on this one. I noticed real quick, not in the notes, but I am going to throw some shade real quick. Once again, another con comes and goes virtually, and guess who dropped the ball? Funko. Once again, internet issues at Funko.com, not nearly as bad as the SDCC at home back in July, but again, laggy website. They did not have the crash in the when people were going to pick their shipping
Oh
options
yeah.
where it crashed. You went back and all of a sudden you're missing your entire cart. That
Hey,
did not happen. It was just
they somewhat learned.
they'd somewhat learned. They're getting better, but it was super laggy, super slow. I had some
They're
friends that
still
went to try
bad.
to, yeah. I will say this though, they've gotten pretty good, and a lot of the quote unquote exclusives
Mhm.
that were available through Funko's website also were available through a lot of secondary websites, not like black market ones, but like legit.
Mhm.
So like, was it Box Lunch, Barnes
Yeah.
and Noble, um, Hot Topic, Target, Walmart.
Yeah.
A lot of them had it. Like I camped out. I camped out. I spent about an hour and a half in line last
Yeah.
week. We showed you on the flex pool last week where I got the Funkos,
Yeah.
the 10-inch Funkos. I did get the Cubone. Came in the
Mm.
mail this past week, but I got a couple more that are coming from Amazon exclusives. One in which I will not be able to show off until December.
Oh wow.
One of which I'm hoping I will get to show off in early November.
Mm.
I may or may not have gotten uh, a another child from the Mandalorian.
Ah,
So a new
gotcha.
baby Yoda maybe come into my way. So we'll show that
Yeah.
off plus some
I,
other things.
I've seen some of the exclusive Funkos, man. I think there's like maybe one or two that I really do
Yeah,
like, enjoy. I like the I'm a big, of course, anime fan, and so there's that one from GameStop, like from Naruto. And, cool,
yeah.
that's a good one. Yeah.
I've got them real quick. Let me get to them real quick.
Like
If I can.
those weird offbeat ones that you really want to get for collectors per se. But I know there's one from straight from Funko where it's like some I just forgot what it looks like, man, and that sold off really quick. I sure how it's called though. But yeah,
One
um,
second. I'm getting it. I'm getting there. Come on. We'll get it. We'll get it going. So sorry. You gotta
yeah, it's all good.
connect the. You gotta get the old. So there it is.
There it is.
There's the Funko
Yeah.
Virtual Con 4. Um, there's the ones, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, that are coming from Amazon. Uh,
I
I
really
will
gotta check
say
this
this one from
Amazon.
Box Lunch was pretty cool.
Oh yeah, the Salmon Carl. No, the
Salmon Carl,
Carl and I forgot her name.
I can't remember her name either.
Yeah.
But then you have the Flocked Growlithe. Then you had the
Yeah, those are the ones to get actually. The guy specifically on the left. It's Merman and something boy.
yeah, I
Yeah.
can't remember what it's called.
Those are the ones you want to get.
There's another one from Harry Potter. That's a set. Was that Tom and Jerry? No, that's not Tom and Jerry. That's I don't know who
Which
that is.
one?
Right there,
Which
the
one?
two mice.
Oh yeah. I don't know, dude. I haven't seen them. There's
Got
been a
some
minute.
Star Wars ones, some more
Yeah.
Freddy Funkos.
Yeah.
You got a flocked Pikachu from Target.
Mhm.
This is the one I wanted to get to. The comic book man from The
Yeah.
Simpsons.
Yeah.
There's the Beetlejuice
Red Goblin. Oh.
Fye with the Stitch birthday cake.
Fye got Stitch. What?
Yeah, this one looks pretty badass. The Wonder Woman riding the lightning. Check that
Eh,
one out.
eh,
The zombie Magneto at Barnes and
eh.
Noble. Looks
I'm just
kind
hanging
of
on Barnes
cool.
Noble. I'm just hanging
But
on Barnes Noble. That's it. They're good.
and
They look good, but I'm just hanging on Barnes Noble.
nah, it's all good. But yeah, there's some of the exclusives. You know, again, Funko just kind of dropping the ball again. But like I said, it
I
was better than San Diego
Yeah.
Comic Con.
Yeah.
But that's really my only thing. They didn't do a lot of merchandising for
There's
New York Comic Con. I think
they never do. That's specifically for New York. They never really there's never enough buzz per se, even though it's
yeah,
technically like New York and I would say LA, but it's not LA, but like San Diego. Like you think those two would be the pivotal ones, but then like New York now has even been eclipsed by like, Rose City Comic Con. No, not Rose City. Emerald City Comic Con and C2E2. Like there's some like new you expect New York to have like some hard like some pivotal groundbreaking type of announcement that happened there. But overall, honestly, the last couple of years, not so much. Maybe it's
No, it's
because
been a while.
yeah, maybe because it's because the con's so near the end of the year and then most of the information is already out by then. But like there's never really anything big shown at New York. Like the last couple of years, it's been pretty. It's been cool, and like it's more so. I like it from that point of like, okay, if you're a collector or whatever, you go there because, if you don't have the glitz and the glamour of San Diego, but like there's nothing really big or pivotal that happens because it's so end of the year already.
I've talked to a lot of people that have visited New York, and from what I understand, is it is very much a collector's con.
It's good.
Still very much an old school comic book convention, just because of where its location is. I will say this: that when it was still going on, Marvel liked to push their Netflix stuff at New
Mm,
York City Comic Con, except for the one year that they got Hall H at San Diego. But for the most part, like I know that they made the announcement for the Defenders there. I think
that's
season
right.
2 of Daredevil got an announcement there.
I
I
mean, I
believe,
expect it.
I think Punisher got the announcement there. And I think the reason being is because they wanted to kind of keep it
Yeah, New York.
grounded in that these are street level. They wanted it right there in the streets that they're from and stuff like that. So, yeah, New York City Comic Con really doesn't have a lot of information, but we are kind of expecting this year for that to be different. And right off the bat, based solely on JR's notes, and of course, our hands down to JR. Just again, another great job this past week of producing this podcast. Wonder Woman once again being delayed. I thought it was already scheduled for Christmas Day, but it looks like it's kind of staying to that Christmas Day, but might
Yeah,
not see a theatrical release.
yeah, it's technically this news actually came pre Comic Con, but like I put it on the notes anyway because hey, it's pretty close enough. And yeah, it's Wonder Woman has been delayed again or is now solidified because there has been quote unquote rumors saying that it might get delayed again. Well, they actually said it's being delayed. It's actually being delayed, and right because they initially what they wanted to do was to have a full on red carpet type of thing where it's in theaters, not so
Yeah.
much anymore, and that's actually a big that's a big twist and knife type of thing to a lot of theaters because not only is James Bond missing now, Wonder Woman now might just go to streaming releasing only now. So
Yeah. Now, like JR said, we mentioned this in the podcast last week, is that the nail in the coffin for most of cinemas here in the United States, specifically here in the Coachella Valley, is that the studio behind the James Bond movie officially moved it out of 2020, thus basically driving the final stake into the heart of the 2020 cinematic year. And now it sounds like not only are they going to just drive the stake, but they're going to go ahead and chop the head off too while they're at it. Can they even have the Oscars this year? I mean, was there a movie released in 2020, or is Tenet just going to
no,
win it all?
I'm probably man, but like, and the crazy thing is that not just only Wonder Woman, but Fast 9 and Black Widow have been pushed back to May 21 now. So like, you have all these big movies just being pushed, and yeah, like understandably so. This is like the worst pandemic in 100 years.
Yeah.
So understandably so. We're so fixated now to technology is that like, hey, all right, cool. Now maybe we just have this stuff on streaming, but at the same time, like, yo, that's like thousands of jobs already kind of just gone by the wayside for
I
movie
will
theaters
say
and all that
this:
stuff.
I cannot name my sources. I cannot name my sources, but I have been told that though it's not the hundreds of millions of dollars it was expected to make, um, in day one with just a digital release. I have been told that in day one, Mulan brought in $35 million.
Hmm.
That is day one, just a digital premiere. I have been told that Disney. This is I can't name my sources, but Disney is stating internally that they are saying that Mulan is responsible for $400 million to date in Disney Plus revenue. That's based on new subscriptions and Disney and the digital premiere. What do they call it? The
Yeah,
something, the whatever, the early
premiere.
access.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's also now counting because starting last week, places like Amazon Prime Apple, Google Play all got early access to Mulan for pay. So, and it was the full $29.99. This was a full. I don't think this is a digital release, or like or a digital premiere, is what they're calling it,
Yes.
where you only get it for a day. I think this is a full fledged copy of the
Okay.
movie. So, but again, nearly a half $1 billion
Yeah.
in revenue through Disney Plus for Mulan. So you're right, Jr. The digital, it's not the same. No one's going to hit that illustrious $200 million opening weekend. No one's going
Not
to hit those
anymore.
Spider-Man in-game, Black Panther numbers.
Nope.
You're not. You're just not. But there's money to be made digitally because it's pure
Yeah.
cash.
It's yeah, you're not looking at certain overheads, because I know for a damn fact that specifically with AMC theaters that like there's a certain revenue cut when people are going out there. It's a lucrative market, don't get me wrong, just to have theaters up, even though there's been noticed like the last couple of years or so that you see this huge
Yeah,
bunk in that.
full on. There it is. Own it. $29.99. So I just double
So
checking.
like regardless of my thoughts and feelings about Mulan, the movie, the one that's been out, like it's still seen as a profitable IP. And
Yeah.
hey, like it shows off this. It's gonna show off the positive and proper things to show little girls or people for a new generation. Like, okay, this is a strong character that girls should aspire to, or people should aspire to. And hey, you're showing more diversity in certain realms. And so like it's gonna make money. It is absolutely gonna make money. But at the same time, not every movie is Mulan.
No.
So that's
And
just the thing as well. So we'll see how that goes, guys.
yeah, and so again, we're gonna see. Again, I'm looking at IMDb,
Mhm.
and it is still locked in. December 25th, Wonder Woman 84
Yep.
is scheduled for release. We do not know if it's a full theatrical or we're going to see it on HBO Max with some kind of premiere
Yeah.
access.
Yeah.
I will say this just real quick to kind of not to chase the rabbit too much more. I do know from the same sources that I have within Disney, said that yes, they had every intention of putting Black Widow out in November on Disney Plus, but because Mulan, though it was profitable, did not hit the numbers that they wanted, they scrapped it and pushed Black Widow to May of next year,
Yeah.
which leads us to our next point that both Fast 9 and Black Widow are officially pushed to spring of next year. We kind of
Mhm.
knew about Fast 9 already. That was one of the real first sacrificial lambs to COVID when it comes to theatrical releases. Black Widow was moved twice this year, nearly got a digital premiere like we were just talking about, but it has been pushed to a full theatrical release
Yep.
sometime in the May. The big
Everything.
bomb, yeah.
Yeah, everything to push back. The big bomb. Just sorry to steal this right from you, but
No,
it
go right at
just is we're not getting dinosaurs for until 2022, guys. Jurassic World
my
the Dominion is being pushed back to 2022.
my
So
son literally was having a struggle to watch to pull up the trailers app on
Mhm.
the Apple TV today. And I said, Jacob, what are you doing? What do you need to go into the trailers app? Like the only thing that's on the trailers app right now is garbage movies. There's nothing to view trailers for that we haven't already seen. And he goes, I want to see if the new Jurassic World 3 is coming with their dude, you're not getting that trailer for at least another 8 months because, like JR said, delay in production pushed back to 2022 now. Reason being, go ahead, JR.
I was gonna
Casting
say
it.
I was gonna say something else, but I just go
He
to
brain
COVID.
farted, but I think it's the celebration juice that is affecting him.
I was gonna say something else a little bit more racy, but like nah, okay, just no COVID. COVID.
COVID.
It's
Well,
COVID.
there a crew member did test positive. I have heard since that it was a false positive, that it was like that, but they're just waiting for the waves of negative tests to come back
Mm-hmm.
and to re-begin production. But yeah, Jurassic World Dominion has been pushed to, I believe, July of 2022.
Something like that.
Um,
I'm hoping that it's nothing like I'm hoping it's nothing too crazy in the sense of like it's not majority of the cast or majority of the crew.
I heard it was just one, but everyone, if it's one, everybody's got to get tested. So.
That's what I'm saying. He's like, okay, so how long has that one been around other people? So there's just that thing. I'm hoping, I'll hatch them. Hopefully it's nothing too serious and that they can get the production back on track, even though I didn't necessarily enjoy the last Jurassic World
Oh
movie.
God, it was so bad. My son
Uh,
loves it. Fallen Kingdom. It was so bad. I've
it,
never
it started off
ever.
so good. It started off decent, man. In comparison to the last couple of Jurassic Park movies. Well, I'm not talking about like the whole weird freaking having the release of what's called the dinosaur that's in the water. That was kind of like okay, but like continuation of them going back to the island and coming back. Oh, that was good. That was a good
Yeah,
setup. It's just that like you could have done so more. Why are you still
it's the
on the
lost word. They have no. That's the thing is they've lost their rudder. They have no new original content. People don't realize if you go back and read Michael Crichton's original two novels, Jurassic Park and Lost World, those
that was
two
it.
novels alone produced the first three books or the
Yeah,
first three movies.
yeah,
Now they twisted Jurassic Park 3 a little bit
a little bit.
to twist an arrow, but a lot of the major points like the bird cage, the boat scene down the river,
Yeah,
those two scenes, the parachute through through the atrium,
yeah.
those three scenes were from the Lost World book. Um,
I
Lost World
just
was not nearly as good as
yeah,
Jurassic Park. The Jurassic Park novel by Michael Crichton could be one of the greatest novels of all
yeah.
time. So descriptive, so good. Michael Crichton is
So
arguably
so dark, man.
it's
That
very dark.
they should have like that's the thing that irritated me. Like there's so much more meat and bones, you know, on
Literally,
the literal meat and bones within the book that they could have used for the movie. Like just the scene where like, a nurse was watching over a baby in the book and she comes to find out this freaking like three of those little freaking like
Pompeys.
mini yeah, we're eating the face off a child. Like,
Yeah,
yo.
and that was the scene. Like, okay, the scene in the movie where Sam Neill's character, Dr. Alan Grant, is
Yeah.
describing the hunting of a velociraptor,
Mm,
hunting the little boy who said it looks like a 6-foot turkey. The scene that he plays out where he pretends to take the claw and cut, that actually happens in the book. The opening scene of the book is that kid actually being eaten by a velociraptor. It's that gruesome. And then JR talked about the little kid
little
being
baby.
little
That kid
baby
baby.
the little baby being destroyed by compies. That was the inspiration for the scene at the beginning of Jurassic Park: The Lost World, where the little girl's attacked, though they don't show her actually
Yeah.
being attacked, where she's trying to feed the dinosaurs with the bread and stuff like that. That was the scene that was inspired by the scene that JR's talking about. So Michael Crichton is a great novelist.
Yeah.
And of course, he's no longer with us. God rest his soul. But if I can recommend books by anybody, any books by him, um, Jurassic Park, hands down,
Yeah.
arguably one of the best books he's ever written.
Mm.
The Andromeda Strain
Yeah.
is here's my first,
Yes.
here's my one and only here's my one F bomb. Here's my PG-13 right here. A total mind fuck. Andromeda Strain's a solid book, and Congo,
Oh,
shitty ass
Congo was
movie,
amazing. Yeah.
shitty ass movie,
Congo. Congo, the
great
book was
book.
fucking amazing.
He also wrote the Great Train Robbery, among others. Time Frame, which was a crappy movie, and a couple other ones.
ADR.
He also co-wrote the script for Twister, but you didn't know
Oh,
that.
oh, I
Yes,
know that.
he co-wrote the screenplay for Twister, which it's intense. Sorry, had to go with my best Philip
Okay.
Seymour Hoffman or whatever that was.
Stop it.
Nonetheless, but yeah, Jurassic Park Dominion pushed to July of 2022, which, by the way, super excited. It has
Yeah.
Bryce Dallas Howard,
Mm.
has Chris Pratt coming back,
Yeah. Of course it is.
has the kid from Pikachu, Detective Pikachu, coming back. I can't
Oh
think
yeah,
of his name.
yeah, 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 yeah.
He's coming back.
Y-
The
You know who I want to come back? Uh, Lexi from the first series, from the first
I
one.
would love for the kids to come back.
They need some type of like some type of connection back to Hammond and the family, because Lexi around this time she's from Palm Springs, which is crazy to me. And
Ariana Richards lives in Palm Springs.
she was from Palm Springs.
Oh,
She was here. She was from
I
here, which tripped me
I
out
love
too.
her.
Yeah, which tripped me out too. But like, yeah, they need to have some type of iteration as a throwback to, at least something of. Oh, they prance around this whole concept like, oh, we gotta learn from James Hammond and all this other stuff. It's all his ideas, but they don't have them there. Understandably so, because we all know what happened. But like, at least have some
We
type of connection straight to it.
Well, we are getting Jeff Goldblum, Laura Dern, and Sam Neill back from the original movie. Obviously, Sir Richard Attenborough has since passed on. Joseph Mazzello, who played Tim, and Ariana Richards, who played Lexi. Joseph Mazzello basically retired from acting
Mhm.
up until Bohemian Rhapsody.
Mhm.
He actually, I think he played the drummer in
He
Bohemian
did.
Rhapsody
He did.
and
Yeah.
killed it. I mean, absolutely killed it. I know that he's kind of just over it.
Mhm.
I know that they have approached both actors to portray the role in the movie. They just don't know. It's getting the right part and just not
Yeah.
doing it just for nostalgic reasons.
Yeah.
I think somewhere they have either in the movie and it's like a throwaway line, or maybe in one of the comic books or novels that
Mhm.
tie into Jurassic World, the first movie.
Yeah.
Um,
They do. Yeah.
that they acknowledge that the kids do still exist, that the kids
Yeah.
are still alive.
Yeah. It was no. It was in And they're also, the last time I saw them was it Jurassic Park 3, where what's the name, the professor goes back to see John Hammond, and there's the kids there, and
No,
that's the
that was
last
a
time I saw them.
that was the second one.
A
It
second one?
was it was
I thought
in
the
it
third
was in
one.
Lost World,
Oh, yeah, it
where
was.
they're walking down the
Yeah.
stairs and they're
Yeah.
like, Dr. Malcolm,
That's right.
kids.
Yeah. And
Um,
I will say, I had brain fart again, but there you go. I will say, first childhood crush, Lexi.
oh, Ariana Richards all day.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Huge crush on her. I mean, that was 1992. I was 11. She was probably the same age as me. And yeah, that was my
Yeah,
first.
yeah,
Dude, come on. Think about
yeah.
think about
Lexi.
think about our life, bro.
I know.
Let's
I know.
stroll down memory lane a little bit here. We're
Oh,
talking, dude, Tiffany Amber Thiessen,
uh-huh.
Kelly Kapowski. Come on,
Yeah,
bro.
I was more into
Say
I
it.
forgot her name. What's her name?
Topanga.
Topanga?
Boy Meets World, dude.
Uh,
Topanga.
here, I can't talk about I can't, because here's the thing about Boys World, right? I was into the redhead, and just hearing stuff what she's into
But
now.
that was like when that was when they went off to college though, right?
Okay, yeah. But like
I
that,
know who you're talking about. Wasn't the redhead more into like the brother or the I know who you're talking about. Go ahead.
but like, yeah, that was still a couple more years, but yeah.
Oh, dude. How
Okay.
about
Uh,
oh my gosh, I can't think of her name because I've met her. Amy Jo Johnson.
oh gosh, yes, dude.
Pink
MJ
Ranger,
Johnson.
bro, all day
Yeah,
long.
Pink Ranger. Child crushes. I had another one. I just forgot though.
You know who I
Uh,
liked
who?
was Lisa Turtle.
Yeah,
I want to go
yeah.
back to Saved by the Bell. I don't think you could go wrong with any of the three. I even like the tall one. I know what she went on to do, but
Actually, for me, then, since you bring up Lisa Turtle, I can't. I love Tatiana Ali. Was in Fresh Prince of Bel
Fresh
Air.
Prince. I was gonna say the same thing. You know who
I
I
was in
liked though?
love with her, dude.
I liked Tatiana Ali. I liked the girl who played the older sister.
Oh yeah, she's cool too. I forgot her name too though, but yeah, there.
Because she was always she's a good girl. She did Fresh Prince, she did Major Payne, and then
Yeah,
had a family, and she was done.
yeah,
And she was
yeah,
great in Major Payne.
yeah.
Perfect role
Hey,
for her.
you know what else I love, Kevin? To kind of segue into the next point.
I know, I saw it, and
I
you're happy as they say, you're happier than a pig in shit right now, aren't you?
what I do love is proper adaptations of movies of video games. Resident Evil is getting a reboot, a proper reboot, my friend.
We sat here a week ago, and you were loving life
Yes.
that it was getting a Netflix animated series.
Two of them.
So are you still getting the animated series?
We are. We're doing the regular anime series and another one for Western's Kids, which is gonna be a weird one-off, but then
So
I'm
you're
cool with that now.
getting a cartoon and a live action movie. Dude, you're
This
no wonder you're freaking loving your championship juice tonight.
Oh my gosh, dude, I love it. Like, and not only that, but but it's they're more focusing. I'm hoping, knock on wood, a more horror vibe,
Yeah.
guys. And it is a Resident Evil reboot that does not have Paul W.S. Anderson and Mila Jovovich. They're not associated with it. It's a whole new cast. The cast is kind of like, okay, it's gonna take me a little bit of time to work with. It's better than, it's but it to me, if they have more lines than the original than the character they're in the W.S. Anderson, whatever, then I'm fine with, because like when you have Leon S. Kennedy in your movie and he's only there for like maybe 6 7 lines, you're pissing me off already. But the reboot is live action and it's set to take place in 1998, so it's technically a period piece, and which is cool with me because this is before the use of smartphones. This is before like technology and internet. Yeah, and it's taking the first two games in order. So they have a lot of the original characters. We're going to see Leon Kennedy. We're going to see the Redfields, both Chris and Claire. We're gonna see Jill. We're gonna see Wesker. We're gonna see Birkin, and these are some pretty good names, man. I think Leon's being played by I forget who he is. Let me put it up right now, real quick, though. Leon is being played by a interesting choice, I will say. I'm just trying it right now. Resident Evil movie.
Well,
Uh,
like I said, the good news is like I said, this is a full reboot, so
yep.
this is not no way tied into the original series, which I know has a niche following. Some people like it, and then that's to each his own. I mean, there's some people out there that like crappy movies. Um, I hate to admit
Okay.
that one of them is my wife who likes the original Resident Evil movies, but
I will say that, like I said before, the first movie was good. Okay, so basically, I will say, um, I think his name, yeah, his name is a John Cameron. Yeah, he was in a previous movie before. I know he was from a different, more prominent movie. James, not Stephen Amell, but Robbie Amell, one of the brothers of one of the Amell brothers, right, is gonna be playing Chris Redfield. So that's gonna be interesting. And the girl, I forgot her name, but she was in Ant-Man and the Wasp, the person who played Ghost. She's
oh,
gonna be
good,
playing.
she was
Yeah, she's gonna be
great.
she's gonna be playing. Interesting choice for me. She's gonna be playing Jill Valentine. So that's interesting. It's gonna take me a minute. It's gonna take me a minute to kind of wrap my head around if they're gonna quote unquote look the part. But already at this point, from the cast I'm looking at right now, you got Kaya Scoladero, Robbie Amell, Hannah John Cannon, Tom Hopper, Evan Nongelia, Neil McDonough. If I show you his picture, you'll know who he is. Like, this is already better cast than most of the prior Resident Evil bastardizations of the games, movies. So to me, it's already better, man. And so I just need to see them in costume per se for me. Overall, I'm definitely into it already. I'm looking for a better adaptation. So yeah.
Um, like I said, I've never been a gigantic horror fan. Um, I think the extent of my horror um, viewing has always been, I think, to the extent was the Scream movies. I thought that
Yeah.
Wes Craven just absolutely killed doing those movies,
Yeah.
literally and figuratively. But I just it never draw it was drawn to me. I never was into the Resident Evil video games. I loved what I did see of it, the theatricalness of it,
Mm-hmm.
and I saw how easily it could carry over to um, the movie theater. What I think that happened to Res Evil, the movies where it kind of went off the rails was it was so tied into that early 2000s,
Yeah, it
um,
was like
like
live action, like
live action.
big
I mean,
action
literally
movie.
live action. Like it was so action. And I always joked around. It was like, it was the how can we turn this into a saliva music video kind of movie
Yeah.
because they basically the trailer was exactly
Yeah.
that. It was a
It was here's the thing, the I will always give Paul W.S. Anderson credit for the first movie because they somewhat try to keep it, somewhat
somewhat.
somewhat um realistic considering the fact that you got zombies in your movie. And it was cool. It was, very close pace, uh um action oriented where you just have guns and zombies. Cool. Don't mess with the formula. You don't the other than the fact that whatever Mil Jovovich's character's name was did that weird jumping back kick to a dog, and somehow
Uh,
that killed it. Right? Was it? I think that was the most less zany of the action movie. But yeah, this new reboot is actually being directed by the director who did that one. He did, it was a movie he came out last year with. It was the one where it was a daughter stuck in a house with alligators. Remember that one?
oh, I vaguely remember that one.
Yeah,
I don't
and
know what it's called, but
he also did 47 meters, where it was two girls. They went to see, I guess, shark swimming or whatever. They're in the cage with sharks, right? And the cage got cut off and it sunk down to the bottom of the whatever place they're at
yeah.
with their thing, and they had to get it out, but there's like, sharks there. So like, okay, cool. You have somebody that has a certain level of horror-esque filmmaking, and I'm happy with that. I'm actually happy with that. So he's in Resident Evil, and he's looking for a more nuanced approach to, like, in comparison to the last movie, to see if we have actual horror in it and nothing too crazy. I'm hoping that we get the first two games where where the character, we're just basically, we're just, we're cops, or we're a sister trying to find her brother who is a cop, and during this pandemic that's going around, which turn people into zombies and flesh eating creatures. So cool. I'm happy with that. The second thing to kind of segue after that was that, here's a big one for me, dude.
Yeah.
I don't know if you ever read this comic book, but Invincible, Image Comics, getting an animated series on Amazon Prime.
They're great. They're grabbing them up. I mean,
Dude.
it's kind of the into the Spider Verse kind of effect that a lot of people are trying to grab these properties from comic books and say it's an easy adaptation to just put it into comic book form,
Mhm.
or to put it in, I'm trying into a cartoon form. So and you get to play around a little bit more. I know that people are so into wanting to see their their characters kind of come to life. And I'll use, for example, is one of my favorite scenes is I just rewatched Endgame for the first time in a few
Mhm.
months last night, and while I was playing Avengers on the PlayStation. Yeah, so I had a little Avengers double feature going. One of my favorite scenes in game. It's kind of I mean, it's not a throwaway scene. It's a part of the build up to
Mhm.
whatnot. Is the support group scene
Oh yeah.
where you have one of the Russo brothers uh, sitting there with Steve Rogers, and he's
Mhm.
talking about going on this date, and he cried, I cried, yada yada yada. And in that support group is Jim Starlin. People don't
Mm.
realize Jim Starlin, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, created Thanos.
Mhm. He
And
also, yeah, he also did the amazing run too of correct me if I'm wrong. I think, yeah, he also written Infinity War.
yeah, so he's right here, smack dab in the middle of literally his creation, but he's sitting across in this room with Russo, one of the Russos. I can't remember which one
Mhm.
it was. And there's Chris Evans, who for the better part of the last decade has been the physical embodiment of Captain Steve Rogers.
Mhm.
And I asked, and I take that back. I didn't realize when I met Jim last year that he was in the movie, or I would have had a million other questions to ask him. But he has since done an interview where they asked him about that scene, and he says, how difficult was it? He goes, it was a piece of cake. And then he's like, but it was weird kind of sitting there going, holy crap, dude, that's Captain America. Like, I can close my eyes, I can hear him talk and speak my words and go like, yeah, that's Cap. That's Steve Rogers. So I'm like, um, going back to what my point was, like, I want to see these comic books come to life. And same thing with Jurassic Park. You know, we sat there and we visualized in our head these gruesome scenes that Michael Crichton wrote for us, and we wanted to see the dinosaurs come to life, and Steven Spielberg did a great job. But there is something about what you can do with animation. And I think that it was proven what they could do with animation with recently with Into the Spider-Verse. I mean, just absolutely killed that movie. And Res Evil, Invincible, stuff like that. I'm really anxious to see what they're going to do.
I will say you had me in the first half, but I didn't know where you're going, my friend. But then when you went to it, I got you.
Yeah,
I will say to get back to get in the point of Invincible. It's gonna be interesting because you have that. Have you read Invincible?
I haven't. I've heard about it, you know, from you and from like Chick and the usuals.
It is incredibly bloody.
Yeah, from what I heard.
Dude, it's Robert Kirkman. This is actually Robert Kirkman's, I think, first book, right? This is the same year that he released.
He can do some blood and gore.
Dude, this is the first year. This is before he did Walking Dead, right? I think Walking Dead was near the end of 2011, 2012, while this was beginning of 2011, 2012. And so when 2002, sorry, 2002, 2000 for both of them.
Well, when it started,
right? I think my screen went black. No, come on.
You're still on it.
Okay, good. So yeah, it was during when basically his breakout year when he first made last Walking Dead and Invincible. They were in the same year basically, right? So this is technically his first book, and he basically went on the conversation of saying that, okay, what actually happens when superheroes fight each other, right? And we saw Superman, we saw this stuff, right? No, dude, I'm talking about like Invincible. You know, this kid gets his jaw torn off.
Damn.
Off. Like there's some stuff I wanted, like people get their stomach punched in and ripped apart. And you see everything, the blood, the guts, and then you see incredible regeneration factor coming. Like basically all the stuff that happens with Wolverine, but with every character. But then you see all the healing processes, everything. And so, if anybody has seen The Boys, from Amazon Prime,
I still gotta start watching that.
Right, I expect at least the level, or maybe even a better level now, because it's animation, of gruesomeness to happen. Because when the Viltrumite war, I think I'm pretty sure I'm saying correctly. When the war happens, you see a lot more blood and guts. You see some parents get their heads ripped off in front of their children. Some gruesome stuff. And I can't wait. I'm definitely oh my gosh, I'm definitely excited to say the least for this specific one, because if this pops off, the floodgates are going to open for everything else, man. Because if this pops off, I cannot wait for Killer Be Killed come out then, which is another crazy gruesome, well, I guess level-headed. Basically, if somebody was Punisher but didn't have all the training, but had to start up from there, right? Killer Be Killed should be another series that should come out, and I just can't wait for that one. The trailer dropped for Invincible, guys. Go check that out on YouTube. I can't wait for it, man. Another good thing.
Let's see. Let's kind of do, because I know we're gonna go rapid. We gotta go rapid fire on this. We're gonna be here all night talking about the next one. Cause I see a couple more points on here. I'm like, bro, we're gonna be. The Expanse season 5 trailer dropped. Basically known, as JR pointed out, the Game of Thrones in space, which yeah, you had me at Game of Thrones.
Let's skip the next one. We'll do that one close to the end.
All that money, Amazon, all that Amazon money doing this series good. Dude, it is a release date of December 16th on Amazon Prime.
I'm gonna circle back to that one, but then we'll go next one over.
Can we say this though? Go. I'm not making light of it, but I'm going to make light of it. Everyone wants to trash on Jeff Bezos and how much he's the world's first trillionaire owner, CEO. He created this company from nothing. It's his company. I've it's funny when it comes to strikes. I have always sided with the owner. I'm
Mm,
just I don't know. Maybe I'm a villain at heart, but maybe I see the world from a different vantage point.
mm,
I am a worker. I've worked for unions. I've worked for in retail for 20 something years. I've had some dickhead bosses, but for the most part, I'm like, I don't fault the owner for one. Like, hey, bro, I'm just sitting there counting my hundreds, whatever. But Jeff Bezos has reinvested his money hard.
into
He has
Amazon.
gone all in on Amazon Prime Video.
There's a
Um,
reason. Yeah, there's a
and
reason why
he is
Jeff Bezos
about,
owns
let's just put it
such
this
thing.
way, we're going to see how many more seasons freaking the boys get. We're going to see how many more seasons the Expanse get. We're going to see how many more seasons this gets and that gets and this and that,
Yes.
because this week it is finally here, folks. We are seeing on Tuesday, the market is even calling it Super Tuesday, because Apple will release supposedly their new iPhone 12, and it is day one of two of Amazon Prime Day, which is
Oh, that's
basically
right.
Black Friday for Amazon.
Yes.
So Bezos going full in, and I'm loving what they're doing, reinvesting their money in stuff
Yeah.
like this. Prime Video continues to get better and better every single day,
Yeah. Yeah,
and
man.
they're not afraid to work with people. And I do think that they are getting a Marvel. They're getting,
Yes.
oh, they're getting Spider Woman, aren't they? No, they're getting Silk. They're
Yeah, I
getting
think they're getting so.
Silk.
It's gonna be interesting because well, we'll skip back to that because
That's a
I do
segue
want.
right there. It's a
I know.
segue.
No, but I do. But then I want to leave that specific note for last though, because that's the big one. I'm gonna because I want to run through. I want to run down the rest of this stuff too, though. So
Oh,
let's
so
say just
you want to skip the next one?
yeah, because I want to
Okay.
say Snowpiercer season 2 trailer drop. It looks good. Sean Bean. I'm hoping they don't kill him. They probably will kill
They
him.
probably will.
They probably will because
It's in his
Sean Bean
contract.
is the big bad. He's the big bad of this series. It's gonna happen, right? Sean Bean and David Biggs were prominently shown in most of the trailer, as they should be. Great protagonists, great antagonists. So good, big hops to them. TNT has been doing some really good stuff with their IPs, man. American Gods season 3 trailer, my favorite book of all time. The season drop, dude. And I will say straight up, because of my favorite book all time, they deviated from the book since season 2. I'm still gonna watch it because I'm a big Neil Gaiman fan, and I'm a big Shadow fan, and I'm a big screw it, spoilers. I'm a big Norse mythology fan of both Odin, Thor, and all of them within the movie, within the series. Sorry, my dude, but the season 3 is gonna deviate a lot from the book. So, but I'm still gonna watch it because it's a great production. So yeah, the Watch trailer dropped as well. It's for those who don't know, the Watch is made from the amazing Terry Pratchett. Of you guys might know him from his Discworld fantasy novels. It's finally giving a live adaptation. Finally, well, they have been live adaptations of his stuff in the past, but supposedly this one is going to be the most, I guess, true to form. Here's hoping it is. It looks more cyberpunk esque, but let's see how it goes.
Real quick,
After,
I just want to throw some love here. Going back to American Gods, I Ian McShane is such an underrated
yes,
actor.
yes.
He is so good.
Oh
I mean,
man.
anything he does
Oh
is
yes.
just peak interest. I mean, just, and I was not interested in American Gods, and then I saw the trailer, had no idea he was in this product, and it's making me want to go and watch the other two seasons. And I know that you've been telling me for 2 years to collect American Gods comics, but it just never.
Here's the thing that I will say about the comics, right? They went all in with the comics, and I feel that American Gods comics, right, is too big
It's one of those.
of
It's
a,
one of those.
it's too big for what they're trying to do because one, Neil Gaiman is like a master of monologue and just when he goes on his diatribes, he goes on his diatribes, and so they try to fit all that in a comic book. And I've seen what they try to do. It's just so much to take in. And I understand you have to have all his words come in because it's not gonna make sense throughout the series. It's just that like it's too much for to be a comic book. Don't get me wrong, I love it straight up. I'm gonna have I'm gonna have my shit signed by them. It's just that you can't, man. It's gonna be hard to do so. But yeah, Abso-freaking-lutely, dude.
Okay, we got Adam's Family 2 trailer
Mm-hmm.
dropped.
Mm-hmm.
Halloween 2021, of course, that's the animated version of the Adams Family, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Which was like obviously was a pretty good success.
Yeah,
It came out last year.
I don't know if they came out last year or maybe like 2 years ago or so. I don't recall. But I do know that I was when I was looking up, stuff for Adam's Family, I thought they were gonna make a live action because I do know what a couple years ago, like 5 years ago or so, someone did a mock up of Christina Ricci as Morticia, as one of the Adam. Christina Ricci, remember the original Adams Family from like
Yeah,
1992, right?
did
Christina
Christina
Ricci,
Ricci play Wednesday?
yeah. I my other childhood crush, Christina Ricci,
She
played
was,
Wednesday,
yeah.
and
And
so they.
wasn't she in Casper the Ghost as well?
I don't recall.
Okay,
I,
you keep going. I'm
yeah,
gonna look that up.
yeah. Supposedly, if for those who don't know, like I think 5 years ago, so someone made a mock-up, or maybe she did herself, where Christina
It
Ricci,
was Christina Ricci.
yeah, where she dressed up as Morticia Adams, and she looked
Interesting.
amazing, dude. She looked absolutely amazing. And so there was some talks of having some of the original crew, like the I guess the quote unquote, yeah, the siblings, right, be part of the Adams Family again in some form or fashion. And Christina Ricci has been saying that she's absolutely down to play it. It's that I don't know. I don't know what happened. I love her as an actress. She's awesome. I mean, like I watched her in I think for a long time she's been known as a indie queen. I think that was the
Yeah.
biggest thing. So, but overall, man, I hope we see her. I hope I see her again in some form of fashion in the bigger, higher esque. I know it's not going to happen because it's Hollywood,
Yeah.
and Hollywood looks younger. So, but I'm hoping we do.
What was a fun kind of a one-off show that she did where she kind of tried to go mainstream, and then unfortunately it was one of those shows that kind of like it started off hot, it was going good, and then people were like, okay, what are you going? How are you going to progress this show? Was she was in a show on NBC called Pan Am, which was based on the old Pan American Airlines,
Mm.
where she was a stewardess, and so it was kind of funny to see her quote cleaned up, not plain goth, so to speak.
Yeah.
And she, no, you know what, she was really good, and I've not been a gigantic fan of hers because she plays the same role over and over again. I did like her in Adam's Family. I did like her in Casper, but she just
Hey,
kind of plays the same role. Like, what was
I
that
will.
movie she did with Samuel L. Jackson?
Oh, Black Snake Moan.
Yeah,
I loved her in Black Snake Moan. I know what you're talking about, bro. Black Snake
people are
Moan was amazing,
people are
bro.
still trying to figure that freaking movie out. So,
Dude, hey, and I know we're gonna go on a weird tangent now, but like I know the
but
director of the movie, right? Because the same director of the movie made what's that one other one where it was a life hard out here for a pimp. Yeah,
oh, he made
yeah,
Hustle and Flow.
yeah, he made also flow. So it was this weird thing where like he was trying to make more so music, right? Music oriented movies. And Hustle and Flow was one, and then this one, Black Snake Moan, went to jazz, went to blues, right? Went to blues, and that was the whole insurgence of like having Samuel Jackson there because he's playing the blues guitar, and music was so
That
influenced by it.
Justin Timberlake was in that movie.
He was in that movie, and Christina Ricci played a sex addict, and she bared it all.
Yes, she did.
She bared it all. But like overall, man, I loved her in that movie. I loved I she it's hard for her. She had to take that risk because before that, she was playing the goth role. She was still somewhat the goth in this movie, but then a sluttier goth, quote unquote. Sorry to slut shame, but like yeah, it was how she was portrayed in the movie. Or no, I'll take that back. She was a sex addict goth, right? And who was dealing with it because because of her love interest, who's gonna be a fiance, was off doing something else. I forgot exactly what. I forgot the whole thing in the movie. But yeah, I love Black Simon was a great movie for me because it more so it was more so on the aspect of like blues, and that movie got me thinking about blues in 2006. So here we are. And then yeah, but then after that, I understand why she took that role because she wants to break out of this niche thing of being just only seen as Wednesday Adams, and like a
Yeah.
lot of other actresses and actors do, they get pigeonholed to a certain role. So there was that. And also, unless you have a point, I know you're looking for some stuff right now.
Yeah. No, I was just I almost went down the
Rabbit
rabbit
hole.
hole on IMDb, stuff
That
like that.
happens,
But
man.
you have my attention. One of the last bullet points you have before we get to our big topic to end New York Comic Con.
Mhm.
You have here Sci-Fi's Resident Alien released a 7-minute clip.
Yeah.
Stars Alan Tudyk from Firefly and Rogue
Rogue
One, among
One.
other
Yeah.
things. You have me and Alan Tudyk. Tell me a little bit about what we got here.
You know, I watched the full 7 minutes, and I will say it's gonna take me a little bit to get into. I still have some mixed feeling because it is sci-fi, and sci-fi in the last couple of years have been horrible with their more prominent shows. Expanse being one of them. They let that go once to Amazon Prime, which honestly for me is the better choice to do so because now Expanse got that we got the Amazon money and so the other shows too. But like I seen it, it looks interesting. Uh I don't know how I feel about it. I will send you the clip so or I'll just tell you after podcast where to see it. Um I mean, Alan Tudyk, I guess, gets replaced by an alien, and then the alien takes Alan Tudyk's form, and it just basically tries to learn the ways of humans. It's gonna be interesting. Look, I'm hoping it shows more of Alan Tudyk than does the alien, because Alan
Yeah,
Tudyk is amazing.
he's a great actor.
I love him, dude.
Absolutely loved him. And one of my first introductions to Alan Tudyk was in oh my gosh darn it, the Night movie with Heath Ledger.
Oh yeah. I know what you're talking about.
Oh my
Oh,
gosh,
that's
one of
gonna
my
bother me too, dude. Why you gotta do this
uh,
to me? I'm just gonna put Alan Tudyk, man. But I know A Knight's Tale.
A Knight's Tale.
Yes.
I One of my friends went and saw it, and he goes, "Bro, don't waste your time because Queen, the Queen was in medieval time. Queen, the rock band, was not. We don't play We Will Rock You and stuff like that." And I'm like, and I went and watched it,
Yeah, that's
and it
right.
was
I remember that.
so good. It was so good, and the subtleness of the "We Will Rock You" and "We Are the Champions" was so subtle. I actually liked
We
the dance
are the
scene.
champions.
I like the dance scene that he
My
does,
friend.
that Heath Ledger does in that movie, and it's not David Bowie. No, it is David Bowie.
Yeah, dude, like that was a
The dance
love
scene's David Bowie,
story.
isn't it?
That whole freaking film was a love story
Oh,
to a lot of like older rock, older British rock stuff, man.
but
Come on.
it was a good medieval. If you enjoyed, I know we're chasing a lot of rabbits tonight,
Mhm.
but Alan Tudyk is an underrated actor that
Yeah,
deserves a lot more attention.
absolutely.
Um, oh, I was gonna say, by the way, he's also in Mandalorian, but that's not him.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
other token robot was actually the director of Ragnarok. It's
Waititi,
Taika
yeah,
Waititi, Taika Waititi,
yeah.
who directed that episode of
Hmm.
Mandalorian. Which, by the way, the countdown is on till Mandalorian season 2.
And for those who don't know, and I'm pretty sure he also Alan Tudyk. One of my favorite roles of him is that if for those who don't know, he was in Trans. The only reason why I'll give Transformers a pass in this case is because they had Alan Tudyk in Dark Side of the Moon. I hate the movie, but Alan Tudyk stole every scene it was in. If you don't remember, Alan Tudyk was the German, I guess, butler s slash like partner of I forgot the other guy's name, but he played the Jesus.
Oh yes, he was in that.
Dude,
Oh,
I laughed so hard in those.
those
He
two
stole
together.
dude. They were so good, and it pissed me off. They had so little lines together. Those two can make a movie by themselves. I'd watch it, man.
Alan
When he,
Tudyk played the character named Dutch
yeah, Dutch. That's right.
to
He had
John Turturro's Simmons. John
dude.
Turturro is such an underrated actor as well.
Yes,
Um,
I will say this. At it, even though my disgust for Michael Bay is high, he knows how to make funny scenes.
yeah,
And having Alan Tudyk take away a shotgun from a bar waitress, slap her in the face, take it out of somebody else, and out of nowhere bust out another gun, and goes, "Oh, sorry, that's the old me. I'm so sorry." I laughed my ass off
I forgot
so
about that.
hard,
I
dude.
forgot about that part. We know we need to do is we should do a watch along of like bad movies or something like that.
Yeah,
Um,
we got to
so,
agree on what is the bad because sometimes I won't. I'll just cringe so hard I won't watch it. But then
um,
I will watch. I will definitely watch Dark Side of the Moon over again.
Just and I'm right there with you. I'll call it like, for those of you keeping track at home, it actually is called Transformers Dark of the Moon. uh
Whatever.
and it is referring to, though, the dark side of the moon where this Autobot base takes place. So spoiler alert.
For
uh
like 8 years ago,
yeah.
12 years ago. Yeah.
Moving along, though, trailer
Great.
for Love and Monsters.
Came out. It's with Dylan O'Brien. Dylan O'Brien is of Maze Runner fame, as well as he was American Spy. And honestly, I give Dylan O'Brien a lot of props, man. He, even though this is looking like one of those action slash like love, like high school love movies, it's a different
Ugh,
take of it. It's
yeah,
after,
it kind of has that look to it.
I mean, it's during the apocalypse, and so he tries to find the girl he was in love with, but like it's featuring Dylan O'Brien, Michael Rooker, Jessica Henwick, Ariana Grande, and others. So they had a podcast on it. They had not a podcast. They had a panel during NYCC. But the last, guys, the last and biggest news I will say
Mm-hmm.
for me to come out of NYCC is that we have final confirmation that Doctor Strange is set to appear in Spider-Man 3.
Yep. Benedict Cumberbatch. All you Cumber bitches will have to go see Spider-Man now. Benedict Cumberbatch is going to be labeled as the new uh, uh, mentor to Peter Parker in this movie. Now, this we'll get to more of the bullet points. Basically, Doctor Strange will take the mentor role away from, similar to what Tony Stark had. Obviously, Tony Stark is no longer with us in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Um, I did read this. This is from comicbookmovie.com. Is
Hey,
that the rumor mill is that Tom Hardy also may be joining the cast. Now we do know this, that it's a possibility that in Morpheus, that is
yeah, Morpheus is
Morpheus,
Sony.
and in Venom 2, we are going to finally get confirmation as to where Venom and Morpheus exist in
Mm-hmm.
what universe. Does it exist are they a crossover in the multiverse? We did see Michael Keaton's Vulture
Yeah,
character appear in the trailer for Morpheus earlier this year. Um, it is talked that that character, along with Tom Hardy's Venom, exists on the West Coast, and we have seen primarily, with the exception of Tony Stark's Malibu home in Iron Man 1 and 2 and 3, that the Marvel Cinematic Universe has primarily taken place on the East Coast.
yeah,
And so there is not a lot of reference to the West Coast. So it's easily forgotten what happens in California
yeah,
and the West Coast. So that's as allowing Venom and those things to take place out there,
yeah,
or I should say out here. But
yeah.
nonetheless, so we don't know yet if Venom and Morpheus exist in the standing Marvel Cinematic Universe, or are they going to be one of those multiverse characters that cross over?
It's a possibility.
Um,
I mean, I at this point, there's so much like this. There's this weird love dance between Disney and Sony to figure out like, all right, we both want to make $1 billion. Where can we find out how we both can make $1 billion each? And at this point, honestly, I'm kind of hoping one of those two make some type of description of saying, hey, we have a proper, I guess, a proper medium of like where to go from here. Because like one, let's get it straight up, yo. Spider-Man, the video game, can make $1 billion in
mhm.
revenue, and Marvel slash Disney is looking at that, because even though I know you're playing the game right now, even though you're playing Avengers right now,
Yeah, yeah.
there is no end game type. There hasn't been no end game type of events happening until maybe in a couple months from now, and so those expectations are low. I know for damn sure. I'm pretty sure. I know for damn sure Marvel, or no, Disney is eyeing Sony to possibly buy, because why not have spot? They've done less, right?
Yeah.
They bought less, yeah. They bought more for less reasons, and so like, yo, if you can get, if they somehow bridge that gap between getting Spider-Man, Tom Holland Spider-Man into, or Venom into these worlds of Marvel, of the of the MCU, like it's they're having this weird dance because one, they got Sam Raimi directing freaking,
Doctor Strange.
Multiverse of Madness, and he gave the okay, and Sam Raimi gave the okay, or give his blessing, say yeah, definitely that's Multiverse of Madness or Spider Man. Go make references to my old Spider Man movies from Sony, and Sony's like, yeah, we'll allow that.
Uh, I'm I am so stoked for this movie, for the Spider-Man movie, because we saw at the end of Far From Home with Spider-Man's secret identity being unveiled as Peter Parker. We do know that J.K. Simmons also is set to reprise his role as J. Jonah Jameson, which we still don't know. Does this J. Jonah Jameson, is it the same J. Jonah Jameson as the same Raimi universe, or is this a new J. Jonah Jameson?
Okay, so quick theory. I'm gonna chase this rabbit down this freaking hole. What if somehow in the next Spider-Man movie, right, whatever iteration afterwards, to get the heat off of Peter Parker, Tobey Maguire, or who was the other one that played the other
Andrew
Peter Parker,
Garfield.
or Andrew Garfield comes along, saves freaking Tom Holland's or Peter Parker's ass by being Spider-Man in that universe and getting the heat off of him.
I like it. I didn't at first. I didn't know where you're going, and I caught on real quick, and I'm like, I like that, and I think they may have done that in the comic books before.
They have.
And a
They
matter of fact, I
have.
think they did that when Peter Parker unmasked in
Yeah,
Civil
in
War
Civil War One.
One.
Yeah, they did some
That
weird
I
thing.
believe, no, I take that back. No, they didn't do it.
No,
In
no.
Civil War One, he sold his soul to Mephisto
Yeah.
to wipe the world's mind, and that people did not know any longer that Peter Parker was Spider-Man. But then Mephisto dangled that carrot over his head and had him do some naughty things for him, but whatnot. No, I
Thanks up.
like that idea. I
Thank,
like that kind of bait and switch kind of.
thanks up. Yeah.
Wait a
Yeah.
minute.
Thanks.
Wait. You're Spider Man, but he's right there. So I
They
like
did.
that.
I'm pretty sure you remember this too, Bill. But if you remember Thor, right, the Thor one from
Jason Aaron.
Jason Aaron, right? Where they thought, or where Odin, right, in the comics, thought he knew the identity of the female Thor, right? That being, of course, Jane Foster. Well, for those who don't know, before the end of her run, they gave out semblance that Mjolnir has its own consciousness, and it can actually turn into Jane Foster.
Oh, that's right. I did remember that.
And so when Mjolnir turned into Jane Foster in front of Odin with Jane Foster there, he goes, "Oh, you definitely can't be Thor then. You can't be the new Thor then, because you're actually here and there is Thor. So who are you?" So I see some type of semblance in that sense, because like, yo, if multiverse type of stuff coming up right now, and I know that Marvel is trying to combat, even though they're miles and miles head over shoulders above DC, and DC is doing Flashpoint still, right? They're trying to get their own multiverse setting type things to happen in a proper way. So best thing to do, get Doctor Strange, your multiverse wizard, basically, visit some old nostalgic characters in Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire, have them on screen together, have that old nostalgic look, right? Because hey, we all said before that if Flashpoint happens and we want, we want freaking the old Batman to come out, well, Marvel's gonna come out with the old Spider-Man, and somehow bridge that gap of having the Venom world from Sony be introduced into the MCU. If that happens, the game is over.
Yeah.
because that means Sinister Six is happening. They'll have Scorpion. They'll have all these characters that are still technically with Sony, and those can play in the like. There's so many things. There's so many chess moves that you could see Marvel and Sony are doing right now, just trying to set the board on. Right?
Yeah.
It's like we have. It's still hearsay at this point, but like I'm the most pivotal and more logical step for me if they're dealing with multiverse stuff, right? And this is going to be answered, hopefully answered with one division, is that if they do go the multiverse route of introducing X-Men, of reintroducing Inhumans, of introducing Namor and all those characters, you're gonna have to try to reintroduce the old Spider-Man universe.
Yeah. I will say this, that um, people have been speculating that there is some subtle um, groundwork being laid
Mhm.
for the other non-canon MCU properties
Mhm.
that Disney acquired in the Fox purchase. That they're laying the groundwork for. Hey, don't forget about these movies, because they can easily go like, we have our own Marvel stuff, and they could just kind of, okay, if you want to go find the X Men movies, they're there. Just type in X Men, blah 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 blah. No, this past week, by the way, Disney Plus completely redid their interface on their app,
Good.
and they have taken under the Marvel tab. They have added Phase One, Phase Two, Phase
Yeah.
Three, and they have added in chronological order, not release date, but the chronological order timeline of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, meaning it begins not with Iron Man 1. It
Okay.
begins with Captain
That
America, First Avenger,
good.
goes to Captain Marvel, then Iron Man 1, Iron Man 2, and so on and so forth. So they have added the chronological timeline. Right below that is a brand new set of movies, X1, X2, X3, all the X-Men movies that they have the rights to right now, because you have to think that movies like First Class and stuff like that, those X-Men movies are under contract, I think, with like Stars
Yeah.
and Epics and stuff like that for right now. And eventually Disney will have those all under the same umbrella. Like they have Fantastic Four, but they don't have Rise of the Silver Surfer. They do have the shitty Fantastic Four that no one gives a care about, but it's under the tab Marvel Legacy Films.
Mm.
So they are laying. Maybe we're looking too much into it as fans, but they're laying some groundwork for us to not forget about these movies. And it could be that, no, Kevin, they paid $60 billion for Fox. They just don't want you. They want to go like, hey, buy Disney Plus. Here it is. Um, but people are saying, are kind of looking into it. They
Yeah.
are leaving it there, and there is more and more rumors going around that. And I know, again, we're going to beat this dead horse for the
Yeah.
next 10 years. If we're, Lord willing, we're allowed to continue to do this podcast, is that the more and more, from the reputable fan websites to the we don't care, we'll type whatever you want websites,
Yeah.
is that they are going to do Secret Wars. That is the in game, pun intended, for phase 4 and into the future. Phase 4, 5, and 6, their quote in game is Secret Wars.
Yeah.
And that shows me right there, not the end of phase 3. This is not the Avengers explanation point for phase 3. This is their in game. This is their 10-year road. So that means
Map.
we're going to see 10 years of crossovers, the total expansiveness of the multiverse. It's
Which
not going
is
to just
yeah.
be with Spider-Man. It's not going to just be with Doctor Strange 2. We are going
Which
to
is
see.
yeah. Which is a great thing to have, because I'm pretty sure we've hammered this on his head that one of the greatest things that Marvel has been doing is having one, not other than the fact that long-standing characters, right, but
Yeah, yeah.
long-standing characters that feature in other films within that franchise. That hasn't really been done before,
No.
right? Outside of big screen movies, right? Maybe you have some one-off Doctor Who series, right, from past Doctors coming back into it, but like, where else can we see, rest his soul, Black Panther come into an Avengers movie, aside from his own movie itself? That hasn't been done, and so we have Marvel setting this bar now, setting the standard within Hollywood, of saying, hey, if you want longevity, if you want stability as an actor, come work with us because you'll know you'll be in your roles. You'll have some fun. You'll have some zany stuff. And they have been one of the epitomes of like standards of like, hey, this is how you do work and stuff like that. And like, just look at their cast, look at their pedigree. You
Yep.
don't. We've seen so many. We just in the last 5 years, we've seen so many people. We've seen so many other studios try to emulate that without the work, and and but it's still a good standard to have, because that means if that standard is if that means if that standard needs to be met, everyone throughout other franchises will try to meet that standard. And so I love it. You know, we're gonna get 10 more years of possibly new Surrey, or possibly new characters. We'll get Kate Bishop, we'll get She-Hulk. And there has been an interview with I forgot his name, but he plays Hulk,
Oh, Mark Ruffalo.
with Mark Ruffalo, where he jokingly said that, yeah, I don't know if they're gonna kick me. They might kick me out soon because I haven't really called back for anything, and he wants to play Professor Hulk. There's been a small little clip, right, that's going around. Like, I don't know. I think they're gonna kick me out last second, but I'm hoping he's still staying. But
There's
I'm
talk that
hoping.
they may bring Edward Norton back.
I love
That
Edward Norton. I love Edward Norton as an actor. Don't get me wrong, but there's a reason why method actors to his degree only have solo movies.
yeah, but I'm just
So
saying that they're talking about they're going to do the Secret Wars that they would bring back. With I'm like, just leave. That would be cool to see Mark Ruffalo and Edward Norton in the same scene uh, playing the Hulk. But I think that would just open up a whole new continuity
issue,
can of worms
yeah,
issues, because as of right now we assume that Edward Norton and Mark Ruffalo are the same person. They're the
okay,
same Bruce Banner.
yeah,
So you would be just
yeah, just keep Mark Ruffalo. Just
yeah.
keep Mark Ruffalo. He's done a great job. Give him his solo movie
Now,
with another person.
just real quick, another thing before we start to wrap things up, going on the crossover, the heavy rumor side of this is if they do a Secret Wars movie, or if they open up the can of worms of the multiverse of madness with Doctor Strange 2. Um, we mentioned a couple of weeks ago that Tom Cruise
Mm,
has shown interest in being a part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but in a limited role because he's working on
Mission Impossible.
Mission Impossible 31. Which, by the way, actually, Mission Impossible, the next one is going to star Haley Atwell,
Haley
who
Atwell.
played Agent Carter.
Yes.
But nonetheless, Tom Cruise has shown interest in being in the Multiverse of Madness to play, you guessed it, the part he was supposed to play, and that is
Tony
Tony
Stark.
Stark. So people are going, wait a minute, Kevin, you just said that Tony Stark is dead, but not in an alternate universe. Also set to heavily rumored to be portraying a character that he was supposed to play as and I just had one of those brain farts, was um the guy who was actually they've been wanting to play Captain Fat I'm not Captain Fantastic, Mr.
Captain
Fantastic.
Mr. Fantastic. Oh yeah,
uh
yeah.
Come
Forget
on,
his
help
name.
me out. John Krasinski.
Yeah.
John Krasinski, who has long been lobbying to play Reed Richards, along with his
Emily
real life
Blunt.
wife Emily Blunt playing Sue Storm. Uh, Once upon a time, John Krasinski was up for another role in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. He was up for,
Cap.
you guessed it, Captain America. So there's talk that John Krasinski not only could be brought in to play Reed Richards in the Fantastic Four reboot into the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but he also could be brought in, which wouldn't confuse fans at all. He is rumored, heavy rumored to
Hmm?
play Steve Rogers in an alternate universe.
Yeah.
Don't know if it's going to happen, but I have heard this, that Chris Evans is starting to wear a little bit, and he's kind of missing not being on those Marvel sets, considering that the role he's being offered is to come back and play Old
Old
Man
Man Cap.
Rogers, but as the director of S.H.I.E.L.D. and resurrect S.H.I.E.L.D. for on screen, of course. Behind the scenes, S.H.I.E.L.D. existed in the form of the TV show, but was never really canonized and was never really brought back. The only quote time that Shield came back was in Age of Ultron. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's my rumors kind of tying into the Doctor Strange, Spider-Man 3 news and notes and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But
Who knows, man? Marvel
what else you got?
Marvel Studios been killing it. I
Yep.
can say as much crap about Marvel Comics as I possibly can because I'm gonna keep it $150 with y'all. You know that for sure. But Marvel Studios, they've been really top notch. We could talk about all the stuff that all certain castings about it. Whatever political thing you want to push out there, but overall they've been top notch, man.
Yeah, yeah.
So, but overall, yeah, they're just killing it, man. They're killing it. Oh, you had anything else to add, bro?
Well, I left my flex pool upstairs, but
I'm just gonna show one thing then, if you're doing flexible, but I don't know if you guys want to do anything.
No, you know what? We'll save it. I'll roll it over to next week, or maybe I'll do something on Instagram.
Yeah.
Don't forget to follow us on all social media platforms. Maybe we'll do a flex pool on social media this past week. At PS Comics, I love you. Again on Instagram and on Facebook. PS Comics, I love you. The letter U on Twitter. PS Comics, I love you at gmail.com. That is a gorgeous, gorgeous cover. That is hot right now. That's the that one, the Mimiko.
Momoko. Yeah. Remember that? Like I ranted about this particular cover weeks ago, and I said like I'll probably just freaking bite the bullet and buy it anyway.
You bought it.
I bought it.
I did get the cover A. I did get the zombie cover, which actually is kind of a cool cover. I want to say this. Let me show you this cover. This was kind of my Dark Horse cover of the week. And I know I wasn't going to do the flex pool, but let me bust this one up.
Yeah, sure.
This came from the Amazing Spider-Man number 850. Here we go. This artist is let's see here is I don't know who it was. I have it blocked out here. But nonetheless, I thought it was a cool cover. There's just something about it. I like that kind of old school kind of 1950s, 1960s kind of cartoon to it. That artist is, let me bring up CLZ real quick. Cover artist on that one is Bruce Timm.
Really? Bruce Timm?
That's what it's being credited for.
Like the Bruce Timm?
Yeah, that's
the Bruce Timm.
It says cover artist
okay.
Bruce Timm. Bruce Timm with two M's.
Okay, you're talking about Bruce Timm like Batman, the Batman Adventures Bruce Timm. I'm like, what?
Also coming out this past week, and again we'll do it on the Flex Pool online, was Scotty Young making his return, doing some Spider-Man covers. I do want to talk about, maybe we could talk about it next week. What your guys' thoughts are on the Walking Dead Deluxe? JR mentioned it a couple of weeks ago on an episode where Image Comics was going to re-release the entire run of The Walking Dead in color form. They were going to completely re-release all 180 books, I think it is.
Something like that.
And they're going to, and mind you, for those of you who've never read The Walking Dead comic books, the entire comic book run was in black and white. And it added to the mystique and the grittiness of, and I actually compared it to the memoir comic that was done by the late senator.
And
again, I went back and I reread that book, and the artwork is so good. But,
good point to make specifically for that, because that's actually we were talking about next week, but in the sense of like Image is re-releasing, has been on this re-releasing spree of particularly their best-selling book in Walking Dead. And the main topic that I want to get into this week, this podcast, right before the Nycc came out, was that the technically the quote unquote failings of Image, of like third party / indie comics, right? And even though as much love I can give to Image as I possibly can, because they're very creator oriented, creator focused, I've the past week or so, the past 2 weeks, Image, not Image, what's the publishing company that Diamond Publishing They put out the best selling comics in August, and I think in September. Image dropped heavily, and this is the first month that DC wasn't on the label. So 1 through like 25 to 30, nothing but Image. So
It's DC's taking a beating.
what not just DC has, because DC is part of Lunar, right? So
Yeah, yeah.
it's just only sold from Diamond. So the DC is already off that category. It's just that the discrepancy between Marvel and Image and third parties is so insane. Where I think number 4 or 5 was from Boom Studios. So I actually want to make that conversation of like, where, because since DC is out, this is basically Image's opportunity to somewhat be in the mix of having high selling comics or high selling products out. And so, do we see that now in them re-releasing a lot of their older stuff because DC is out of the technically the diamond category?
Who knows? Uh,
But that's a conversation I wanted to get into because I seen their earnings, and it looks pretty rough for Image. Sad to say.
we will. Yeah, it's. Sorry, I just someone sent me a link to a uh, a picture of Keanu Reeves as Mark Spector, and I'm like,
Show
bro,
it.
hold on. I mean,
Show it.
so this is a fan art.
Mark
Keanu Reeves
Spector?
as the Moon Knight.
What?
It's a total fan art, but it's really good actually. It's this is not Boss Logic, but check this shit out right here.
Oh,
it's,
wow.
it is kind of cool
Uh,
actually.
that is good. I will say though, if I take out the Crescent Moon, he looked like he could be an Assassin's Creed game. So
Yeah, it does have a very Assassin's Creed, but
yeah,
throwing some love to this guy,
yeah,
Erythrim 20 on Instagram.
yeah.
So there you get a free plug, bro. Um,
That's interesting, my dude. But
but
yeah,
it's the last major character that the Disney Plus shows haven't casted yet. So we're on Moon Knight watch right now. So,
yeah.
but again, guys, thank you so much for supporting the show. I've been checking out the numbers. We have been through the roof the last couple of weeks. I don't know, we're doing something right. Again, hit it up. Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Anchor.fm, iHeartRadio, and check it out. PS Comics, I love you on those social media platforms. If you're listening right now on the audio form and you want a little visual element, head over to YouTube and just type in PS Comics I love you, or follow the link at anchor.fm/PS Comics I love you. And again, so that's our social media platform. PS Comics I love you at gmail.com. He is JR Kambakungan, the Dark
The Dark
King.
King,
You can
and
find him.
he is.
I am the. He's
Yeah, he is. Wait.
at also not JR Comics 42. So you know what? Go follow him on Instagram so that when he wakes up in the morning and he sees he's got 36 new followers, he's like, shit, I have to
I
create
gotta
new
post
content.
some.
He's
I
got to
know.
post something. And I'm Kevin Pillow, aka the Voice of Reason,
Yeah,
at Voice of Reason 23.
I will post more stuff, guys. I will be also posting on our official PS Comics I love you, because I saw Kevin's beautiful mug on there that I think a couple of days ago, telling you guys how to bag and board properly. Y'all should know how to probably bag and board your stuff.
Well, what I was trying to do for those of you who tuned in late, not that this is live or anything, but
Mm.
what I was trying to do was I was trying to do an experiment. I read online people were having problems with Detective Comics number 1027,
Mhm.
that it has not been bag and boarded properly. And I had read online, someone says, "Oh, just get some Silver Age bag and boards." Just so happened, Amazon ran a special for bag and boards. I think it was for 100 bag and boards for like $15, which maybe's a little expensive, but nonetheless, whatever. They were on sale from BCW.
Mhm.
They fit, but I did tear one. I will say this: much like the trade paperback, probably one of the biggest trade paperbacks that DC has done in the last 20, 30 years was Death of Superman the Death of Superman's trade paperback.
Yeah.
That one's pretty darn close to the same size as Detective 1027.
Yep.
The Death of Superman book, I had a hard time bagging and boarding. And I finally got it to fit. And this is pretty darn close. And again, if you're really, really hard off to have it bagged, bag it only. Don't put a board on it, and then just store it away.
Yeah, it's strong enough to have it on stuff, guys. But
it won't fit in a top loader. There's no top loaders on the market that'll fit the 1027 books.
Absolutely not.
I'll do some more research. Hopefully, I'll have some more information. If I find something sooner than later, I'll post it on Instagram or on Facebook. But yeah, JR and I will be posting some more stuff. But give us a follow. And yeah, thanks, guys, for all your support. And we will see you next week. Anything else? Last words?
No, that's it. I'll see you guys next week on episode 21. We'll be both drinking. We're legally able to drink now. Episode 21, guys. We'll see you guys later.
See you guys.
Peace.
Peace.
Kobe.